Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. Today, today, we got a great one for you guys. A good live one. This is an old friend. At least I feel like I always give her a hard time about. She's really holding back about like really knowing like Jay-Z and Beyonce, and I know she's on the yacht with them. But today I have the distinct pleasure and honor to collab and network with one of the most notable podcasters from out of Chi-Town. And when I say she lives and breathes music, and so y'all like, well, what in the world does this have to do with real estate or business? Well, just follow me. Just follow me, right? So this is a collaborating and networking event. And so it's a good thing when you can take somebody else's talent and you can merge it in together. So if you think about it, just think about what Bruno Mars and Anderson Paak have done. They're superstars all on their own, but guess what? They decided to come together and collaborate to create some magic, right? So in essence, this person is individual that I'm speaking about. Just give me 1 second. I want to do a just a quick little intermission before we I want you to see her in her element.
All right, this is Saturday. We're gonna make it a little smooth.
Let me check. So, guys, if you saw those smiling faces, the first person that you saw, that is the one and only, the DJ Val the Voice Johnson out of Chi-Town. And so she's such an amazing talent, very noticeable. And what I want to do is just give you a brief understanding of what true collaboration is. This is different than a true collaboration. This young lady is an amazing talent. She's done so much within the industry, and she's doing more. And I cannot wait for you guys to just be prepared, be warned. There's going to be some laughing, there's going to be some pausing, and just have fun, guys. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to Miss Valerie the Voice Johnson.
Hey, everyone. Gotta put both of us on the screen,
Got,
Derek. I like it.
gotta
I
put
like it.
both
I
of
like
them.
it.
Guys. So check this out. I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna start it off. So the reason why I'm even here in this platform and I know how to use this platform is because of her. So check this out. So I'm the host of the Building Wealth through Real Estate, right? So now I'm a presenter. I speak to a lot of people, right? And so I was required to get this system, and so it's like 10 minutes in the time before we're supposed to go live. So I called Val the Voice Johnson. She ain't picking up her phone now. She didn't pick up her phone. So I called her like 10 times.
I was
I
eating,
called her
Derek.
10 times, y'all. I said, Val, I'm scared. I'm so scared. It kind of reminds me of that portion where Martin on Martin, where he was like, Jenna, I'm scared. I'm so scared. Anyway, I want to tell you thank you for just being here and collaborating. And this is what true collaboration is, because when you have problems, you always want to be able to call that person. So you're my tech person. So I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, and then we're gonna get into it.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Derrick. And one thing that I will say, he's thanking me for helping him be his tech person. And I'm very appreciative of all the kudos. I was started as a podcaster with my birth name, Valerie Johnson. Very, very simple, very basic. There's a lot of Valerie Johnsons out there, and anyone named Valerie, kudos to you. I was talking with Derrick, I want to say anywhere from 4 to 6 months back, and he says, "There's something about your voice." And I said, yeah, okay. And he's like, it's the voice. He said, "You should call yourself that, Val the Voice." And I'm thinking, that sounds a little campy, a little too on the nose. I don't know what I was thinking. I ran the idea past my creative business partner. This would be Michael Womble. We do a show every Tuesday called Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. And I mentioned, I says, I'm thinking about going from just Valerie Johnson to Val the Voice. What do you think? He didn't hesitate. He said, I love it. And I trust him for his creative direction of our show. And it's truly a collaborative effort to get a podcast together. I started this journey, like many people started new careers and journeys in 2020 when I could not carry my camera. I did photography, event, and videography in Brooklyn for about 2 decades. And then I relocated to the Midwest and was getting ready to gear up and go do my thing. And COVID hit. And I was thinking, what am I going to do if I can't go and take pictures or be an event person with my camera? And I went back to my first love. I went to school for broadcast journalism, and my first love was DJing and being on the radio. I did morning drive for about a year, no, for about 2 years with my college radio station. And my mom talked me out of it. She thought that doing radio was too dudeish. That's not too many women in that lane. However, things are a little bit different now. And so if you want to do broadcasting, the new way to broadcast is to podcast. I had a great friend of mine, Jory O'Neill, encouraged me to do a podcast. I hooked up with Michael Womble. We went to school together. We both have our degrees from the same school for broadcast journalism. He says, if you speak, I'll write. And we did it. And now 100 episodes plus later, we are interludes, and we have an audio podcast as well as a visual podcast like this is on the StreamYard platform. We're celebrating 1 year on the platform, doing it to YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and now we're on Pod TV, which is a Roku channel. It's been very, very exciting, Derrick, and more people are catching on to the Val the Voice. So, Derrick, I publicly want to thank you for that name change, that mind shift to say, yes, it's the voice. Believe in yourself, believe in your talent. And I think that is what is brilliant about our collaboration.
Well, you better say it. Don't get me to shouting.
Do your dance, do your dance.
But like I said, you're very talented, and one thing that I notice is that when you see talent, like the conversations that we've had, like I'm like, well, I didn't know you knew that. So, like, why didn't you just tell me that? Like, she goes to like these old school people that, like, very notable people. Oh yeah, I interviewed him once upon a time. Like, it's just like nothing. Like, she going to the park or something. I interviewed him. Yeah, several times. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know him. I know him.
My producer gets on me all the time about this. I'll name drop and he'll go, "Did you all go and pick that up? Val just dropped another name of someone she's met." I'm like, it's hard to not run in. This is hard not to meet people when you live in one of the largest metropolitan areas in the world. New York has everybody, and people that were famous walked around New York like they're nobody. And I love that. I'm glad that I made that decision. When I was trying to make my decision what coast to go to, I went to the East. I went to the East, my brother, to the East. No diss to LA. I love LA and I have family out there, but I'm very grateful. And then, New Yorkers keep it real with you. I still have a little bit of my Brooklyn accent. So I like to keep it real with folks. I drink coffee. Coffee. That's what I do. But Derrick, I love the Alabama Southern gentleman that Derrick is. And I think I was drawn to his Southern draw and just kind of how he is a shepherd of people and a giver. And he's always giving me great direction in business. Now, I was asked about this earlier in a podcasting room, or let's just be honest, me and Derrick love Clubhouse, so we're in Clubhouse a lot. We were asked, who are your people that you surround yourself with? And I was thinking, well, who's on my board of directors? That would be Derrick. Derrick would be on my board of directors. There you go.
Oh my goodness. So, well, let's do this.
Okay.
I want to ask you a question.
Right.
What is the most notable interview that you've done?
Most notable.
I can tell you. I'll
Oh,
answer it for you. I'll answer for you.
go ahead.
Okay, so it was back in November. There was a guy that they call him the MuthaFUNder.
Here we go.
So, and I hear that you got a lot of downloads from that MuthaFUNding interview. So, is that true or is that true?
That is correct. My listening audience is very diverse, and I'm so grateful for everyone that supports me in my old hometown of Brooklyn. I miss New York. But a lot of people have an interest in real estate. And when I put it out there that I was going to be interviewing someone that is an active real estate investor who understands how to negotiate deals, people tuned in. And for that particular audio podcast that I invited him on to, we got some of our highest downloads for the month of November of 2021. And so he's a part of I think that was my third season, because I do a season every 20 to 25 episodes. And so 100 episodes, we're now in our fifth season. That sounds so amazing to me that I have a fifth season. Thank you very much for our audio podcast. But we love to highlight business entrepreneurs and definitely creatives, especially in spaces of filmmaking and television. So it's a wonderful thing. I'm very grateful for that. But that was a very notable interview. Let's see, but there's been some others. There's been countless of other interviews that I've had, and some very informative. Talking with a Chicago detective about, unfortunately, I'm in Chicago and there's carjacking that happens often. So we talked to a detective about how to protect yourself for that. Love talking to music artists. Our music producer for Interludes worked with some very famous people and is Grammy nominated, so he did our music. I've had him on several times, and that led to some other great interviews. I was a huge fan of Arrested Development when I was in college, and it was an honor to have the leader of that group, Speech Thomas. He's my brother in Christ, and it was great to have him on, because myself, as well as Mr. Womble, we were fanning out like, oh my gosh, we're going to talk to Speech and see and preview his new music. I think the biggest one we did was also one of the actors from one of our favorite films, Love Jones, Bernadette Speaks, and she was very. She was just a blessing, and in fact, we have to reach out to her again to have her back on, because she's been doing some other film. She's done some other filmmaking things as well. So I can go on and on. These are fabulous. I love talking with people, and to know that this is a career. Yay!
Well, can I name one notable for me?
Oh, who was a notable for you? There you go.
So big time guy, Dr. Stephen Jones.
Wow. Yes. Yes. STEM. And that speaks to science, technology, and mathematics and engineering teachers. My Michael Womble, our producer, is a high school English teacher. So Dr. Jones and Michael, they just bonded because Dr. Jones is an excellent shepherd of students at Villanova University. I believe he's the dean of students there,
Mhm.
as well as a podcaster in the STEM research arena. It was really great talking with him because when you interview, when you do things like I do, interview folks, you learn a lot. You go in with the questions and kind of the layout of what you want to talk about, but then these little gems come out, and definitely there were some gems, I guess, that stood out to you that you were like, yeah, I didn't know that, STEM research or people that are in this arena, it's not that many blacks in this arena, and then how much money they make. Dr. Jones was able to speak to all of that because he does that on a regular basis with his podcast and his classes at Villanova. So
Mhm. Yeah, he was. Matter of fact, I had a great conversation with him earlier today, and
yeah.
it's like you don't know people until you know them, and when they let you into their world, you when you see them afar, you're like, wow, that's Dr. Stephen Jones.
Yeah.
But then when you talk to him, it's like, wow, that's Dr. Stephen Jones, because he from afar, it's hard to think that you can have a conversation with someone of that stature. But then when I had the conversation with him, he's just so down to earth.
He is.
And the biggest thing that I took away, that you got one guy was able to sell a total of 40,000 books on his own. Like, I'm like, can I get you to be an affiliate or something, and you sell my, I get a one pager. We can, yeah, 40,000 books. I mean, wow, that's something amazing, right? And so I was just, it's just good, and thank you for bringing them on to the show and highlighting them.
Yeah, and he down the road became one of our small business sponsors, and we were able to promote some of his products for a great his digital products for a great long while. And Dr. Jones, we consider anyone that becomes a small business sponsor to Interludes kind of that friends Interludes family. So anytime you have something that you'd like to promote and you become a sponsor, we're there to let you know. And we have a lot of fun on Tuesday evenings. We do our Interludes Extra talk on Tuesday, and we, as a lot of people like to say, spill the tea or the coffee or whatever that is. But it's fun for us because we're able to kind of talk to people of color in spaces of television and film, and just the news that they were making. You remember what happened with the Academy Awards with the Will Smith slap, right, Derek? That
Yeah,
was probably one of our most watched Talk on Tuesday episodes. I was like, I looked at the analytics and people went back to watch it again. And I was thinking, really? So it was interesting. What sometimes I don't like to go on things that are hot, but it's hard to not do that, especially if that's the arena that we talk about all the time. I
mhm,
My story I had in my head was he was going to be the first hip hop artist to win an Oscar. I already made up that story and was like, he's going to win. That's going to be the story, and we're going to move on to the next situation. But then you saw everyone saw what happened. So
yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, and it's, hey, you know,
yeah,
like because people can say they wouldn't have done that and they would have been all professional and stuff. But if you think about it, that's his bae, that's his boo. So
yeah, exactly. And the thing of it is that, and I think this was my sticking point that I kept coming back to, is you have carefully crafted your career for decades, and you are representing an entire, I want to say, um, arena of actors that at one point weren't taken seriously when actors who came from the hip hop world became actors. And
Right.
they started coming as early as he was one of the first with his show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And then you know, Queen Latifah, Living Single. You had, I think LL Cool J had a sitcom. It didn't last long, but he was there. So Samuel L. Jackson early on was like, why are these hip hop people coming into acting? They don't know what they're doing. And he had to eat his own words as years went on and people started to get nominated for Oscars and other awards. And then just the talent is being known. And can you name, Derrick? This is a trivia. Can you name a hip hop artist that has been on a TV show for over 2 decades?
No. The only person I can think of is Will.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. There's a producer that's well known named Dick Wolf. He created New York Undercover. Do you remember that show?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he had an actor who was a rap artist named Ice-T come on to his New York Undercover show, and he played a villain. When
Uh,
Dick Wolf was creating Law and Order series, he created the other spinoff called SVU, and Ice-T was brought on as a cop. That show
uh,
is now one of the longest running TV shows on network television, and he is now in his 60s, has been on there the longest. And so he comes from the hip hop world,
right.
and he's been acting on television as a cop for 22 seasons. So that's amazing. And it was going to
It
be, in
is.
my mind, a great thing to say, hey, we have someone from this arena of hip hop that's going to win an Oscar. People have been nominated before, but they had never won. And he tainted it because he got so upset about how his bae was talked about. Ah, have a conversation with this person to the side, behind the stage, behind closed doors, and say, "Look,
Right.
man, don't talk about my bae like that.
Yeah.
There's a way to handle it." So I was just hurt. I
Yeah.
was hurt because I've had my decades old crush on Will for a very, very long time. I'll get
Yeah.
over it.
Too
Oh.
funny. Too funny. So, but I'm not condoning it, but you never know what person reaches their striking point, right? So, yeah, and he struck. He struck. So,
The great thing about collaborating and networking, especially in that arena, is I like to call it Black Hollywood. It is so small. And a lot of people get their next job, their next directing jobs, producing jobs, acting jobs from networking, from talking to people. And I
mm,
was thinking to myself, aren't they friends, or didn't they do something together? There's a episode where Chris Rock appeared on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. How did he get that job? There was some networking that happened and said, sure, I'd love to be on your show. Come on. And then there you go. And
mm,
I think Chris Rock had a late night talk show a long time ago. One of his first guests on there was Jada Pinkett before she got married. Like,
mm,
so I'm thinking, can we remember the way that we elevate the culture is we have to collaborate and network. And then if we're upset about things that we say or do to one another, we talk about it one on one, and we don't
yeah,
embarrass each other on an international stage.
international. Yeah,
International, right? It wasn't
yeah,
just national. It wasn't
yeah,
just Pookie and them cookout.
yeah.
This was all over the world.
You know how they say it was the slap that was heard around the world,
Oh,
right?
I know. Oh my
Anyway,
god.
well, let's continue to move forth and just empower each other,
Mhm.
encourage each other, and collaborate. Just like Val Du Bois so eloquently said, let's do it organically and smart. So I have another question.
Okay.
So what made you want to get into the podcast scene?
That is an excellent question. When I did radio, now going back almost 3 decades, I love being able to talk about entertainment or to play music and just kind of that vibe that I would get with, sharing music and talking with people or taking phone calls. We produced a Black History Minute for we're talking radio now, back in the day. And that was so much fun. And this was when I was editing audio on a reel to reel. So I'm telling my age because I didn't have all those digital pro tools that we have now. But I was cutting that up, putting music together, getting quotes from, you know, prominent African Americans. And that felt good to be able to put together a whole show like that. So I just returned to that first love that I discovered in undergrad and said podcasting is the wave of the future. And now podcasting is done in different ways, even from what we're doing right now. People are creating full podcasts on different platforms, such as Clubhouse, as well as Wisdom,
Mhm.
and also in the metaverse. So I'm learning about these things from others, but I'm taking the principles of what I learned now almost 30 years ago from broadcasting into what I'm doing now. Those are the same wonderful principles that you are able to put forth and do well. Interview as well as listen. And being an excellent listener when interviewing is kind of the key to doing great podcasting, knowing your topic and also being a forever student in your podcasting, learning more. Like I learned a lot from you in real estate. When I interviewed you, it was me learning about real estate investing. That's important to me. This is something I would like to go into, and you have been a great encourager of that. So other people have interests like that as well. And so that's what podcasting is all about, having that strong interest and love of the subject, the topic, and then being the forever student, learning how or what can be done. Yeah.
You know, you're not good at what you do. You're great at what you do
Oh,
because you have this thing of
stop it.
like you pull people in with the stories that you share, but you don't just share the stories. You go back to the historical facts. Oh yes, do you remember this? And it's like you're so astute and studious about what you're doing because Dick Wolf, I didn't even know that he produced New York Undercover, and I didn't know. But now I used to watch that, like 'cause I was young then when I did that. But like that's a historical fun fact, and I'm like I only knew that because you were able to bridge the gap. So I appreciate that. So guys, what I want you guys to do, make sure you give Miss Val the Voice Johnson a follow on Interludes. This is her IG right here. Check her content out. But let's continue the conversation. So one of the things I did want to discuss is collaboration. You know, we do an event every second Saturday,
Mhm.
and it is called building. No, not building wealth. It's called a real estate jam session.
Yay.
And so, guys, Val is the star of the show, right? So the people that I bring on to interview, they're like, "Hey, man, it's just something about that Val, man." I'm like, "Okay, you know, I'm here, right?" I'm like writing, yeah, 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 but Val, man, it's just something about that Val, like, and it reminds me of when that parent, when the mom and dad they have a child, right? And so everybody they want to be nosy to see if the baby is really cute or not. And then if they see that the baby is cute, then they'll be like, "Hey, we were just stopping by. We wanted to see how the baby was doing." Oh well, we okay, right? So I had that moment of like, "Well, I'm doing okay." because they were just wanting to know what was going on with Valerie, and I'm like, she good, she coming. So you like the main attraction to the show that I created, So I'm in my feelings a little bit, but thank you though.
I need you to get out of your feelings. I
Get
need
out
you
of
to
my
get out of
feelings.
your feelings.
Okay, I'm out of my feelings now, a little bit, low key, low key. But no. So being silly for a moment, but getting back serious. So do you remember the first time we did that Instagram live?
Oh my gosh. And guys, I have to let you all in on something. I didn't know how to go Instagram. I didn't know how to go live on Instagram, and Derrick taught me. I was outside when that happened too. I was going to have this interview outside, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
And that's a shame. At that time when we did it, if anybody is looking for any technology advice from me, you must be desperate. I just learned how to do it, and I'm like, I feel like I was special. I showed Val the voice something. So, but yeah, that was an amazing interview. We had so much fun because all we did was just laugh. I know the people. I was in my Airbnb at that time, and I was like, I know these people. They gonna kick me out because all I was doing was laughing, and so that was really a fun experience. So, uh,
Was.
we have a mutual mentor, somebody who's very notable and has some achievements behind that doctor. So, um, and I'll say this: you're very talented. So don't ever let anyone ever dim that light that you have and what you're doing, because I think that you're very, very special. So, like you there you go, and that's why we love seeing you every time that we can. So, what I want to say is to anybody that watches this replay is that don't let anybody ever dim your light or your voice. Your voice is very important. I no pun intended. Val the voice Johnson. So when we speak, we use our voice, and if we can't speak, we can use our actions. And if we can't use our actions, we can hear to receive the message, right?
Mhm.
And so we just got to keep on speaking.
Right.
And if you stop, people will never know what your message is. And so I say that to say this: we want a platform, and our mutual mentor heard me speak on one of the digital products that we offer. And so true collaboration is being able to point out each and everyone's gift. So you
Mhm.
have a gift with your voice and your seriousness. So when we meet, uh, I could tell when Miss Johnson is coming out or if it's Val the voice, because you need it. And so I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's gonna be that one time where I'm gonna be Mr. Young and she gonna be Valerie, and I'm gonna tell her. But no. What I wanted to say is that my most notable experience is being able to bridge the gap, and to connect you to who I know, because at the end of the day, that's how you share social currency. And so I'm up at 3,400 people now on Clubhouse now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And we did Dr. King. It was Dr. King, Miss Linda Gray,
Mhm.
and Dr. Jacqueline King is the CEO of the Black Women Empowered Network.
Mhm.
And she heard me speak about our digital card product that we offer. And so, if you see the website that's scrolling, that is the event that Val the Voice Johnson hosts and brings the heat that
And when's
everybody
it and when and
understands.
when's the next event?
The next event is August. No, where we
September.
just September.
Mhm.
September the is it the 11th?
Yeah, I think it would be September the 10th, I
10th.
believe.
I was close. I was close.
It
1 hour.
was
So
very,
September
very
10th.
close. Very, very close. Yeah, I'm
September the
looking at
10th.
it.
So
September the 10th.
yeah, we got a great individual by the name of Patrick Yepis. And when I say that brother is a networking genius, somebody you need to know, somebody you need to connect with. He knows a lot of people. But getting back to Dr. Jacqueline King. So Dr. Jacqueline King heard me speak on the digital cards that we offer as a service. So she reached out. And so I'm like, yeah, did you call the right Derrick Young? She was like, yeah. I'm just trying to make sure because I don't wanna take nobody's fame or stardom, you know. So she was like, yeah, you the digital card guy, right? I said, yeah, that's me, but do you have the right digital card guy? Yeah. She was like, yeah. She said, boy, stop playing. Yeah, I'm calling you. So I had the opportunity to host the show on the Black Women Empowerment Network, and that's been really great. And Dr. King and I have really been collaborating. And so, same with us. And you want to be able to take what you know and share with others. So, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts in collaborating and sharing?
You grow as a business and as an individual when you are able to network and talk with others about what you do and then how you can help. I heard this morning because I've always been intimidated about sharing or selling. And he says, nope, think of selling as sharing, and sharing is caring. You are the best of what you do in your lane. And so to not share about what you do is to deprive others of how you can help them or collaborate with them. I think what I've learned about networking, definitely from you, is don't limit yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. Please get on the different platforms and nurture the relationships that you're starting. I know that I have stayed in the lane of business networking, especially on Clubhouse, just to be very clear to anyone that would come from the left wanting to start a conversation about something else. And it's like, no, this is why I'm here. And I want to help other people that want to go into podcasting and make that easy for them, for that transition to happen for them. And as far as building a course, that's where I'm at right now, building that course and training, would be new podcasters to come into that arena. And a lot of people that have their own business do podcasts like you do. This is your podcast, this is your playground. And you do real estate investing. Why does a real estate investor need a podcast? You want to connect with other real estate investors, other bankers, realtors, and people that are in the arena to help. And then also, you want to stretch that out to others. You never know. You could be talking to a teacher in Houston. You could be talking to a garbage pickup person in Calabasas, and people, you'll never know what they do or have an interest in, and they might have an interest in what you are sharing with the world. Derrick is sharing that he is the mother funder. Now, when he first came up with that, I was thinking, you can say that wrong, and then before you realize it, you cursing. But no, it's a great it's a great play on words. And I notice when I come into certain platforms with them, I just see the mother funder, and I'm thinking, oh, it's Derrick. But that's
Yeah,
good. That's good because that's
yeah,
your brand. And so
yeah.
my brand is Val the Voice. This is a talent of yours, Derrick, of knowing how to brand and how to put yourself out there and be strategic but caring in that regard. So there you go. I see you. Peekaboo.
No, but I really do appreciate you.
Mhm.
So now, what projects are you getting ready to work on? What are you most excited about?
Well, I'm excited about creating the course. I'm about 2 modules in. I'm probably only going to do 4 because this will be for beginning podcasters, and then I'll create a more, intricate one that talks about sponsorship and the like of that. A few projects that I'm very excited about. I I really am excited about some of the short film projects I'm getting ready to start shooting, and to actually collaborate with other filmmakers that I've met doing the podcast to, help me in that journey. And I found out that we're going to have a studio built in the Chicagoland area, not too far away from my house, and I'm like really
Nice.
excited about that. So,
Nice.
yes, because people think Black Hollywood is in Atlanta. Well, we about to compete with Atlanta. I thank you very much, Tyler Perry, for creating the studios. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you create all these jobs. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's getting ready to happen here, and um, I I went to a homeowners association meeting and found out all about it. So now I'm just getting ready to have them on the podcast and see
Uh,
what happens with that. And I think what would be so great, what would be so cool,
uh,
is to teach our young people, our high schoolers and freshmen in college, if you want to go into filmmaking and you don't have to go to the coast. Like I was given that choice. It was either New York or Los Angeles. Which way am I going to go? You can stay here at home and make things a better place. And people, hopefully, it'll keep kids from carjacking and shooting people. We can make a
mm,
movie.
right.
If you're busy making a movie, you ain't shooting nobody. Praise the Lord. Okay.
Right. I'm done. I don't know what I would do with you.
Pow pow. Shoot shoot.
Pew pew. Well, that's amazing. That's some great stuff. So I'll give you
Mm-hmm.
a share. So and this we shared this on Clubhouse with Dr. King on the big project that we got coming. So I gotta give y'all a funny. And so if y'all are watching, do me this favor, guys. Please share it out. And if it's on a replay, still share it out. Like and subscribe. This is Val's interludes YouTube down here at the bottom. So follow her on her socials, and we'll put it up. This is her IG. Put it up. Make sure you guys follow her because see, she's here sharing his caring. She's sharing her story, and so but I'll
Mm-hmm.
let you guys know something so funny. So Dr. King, I'm eating lunch one day, and Dr. King calls me, and so she says, "Hey, Derrick, are you available?" I said, "No, ma'am, I'm eating right now." So she says, well, doctor, and so she'll always say that. She said, Derrick he's just such a respectable young man, and so because I always say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And so I said, well, I'm eating right now, and so she was like, well, Doctor Matthew Knowles wants to talk to you. I said, oh, I'm not busy. I'm not busy anymore. And so she was like, well, let's hop on this Zoom really quick. And so now this whole time, I forget that I have some chicken in the side of my mouth. So it's like, so when I entered the Zoom, and so now it was so funny. So my name on Zoom is Derrick the MuthaFUNder Young.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. No said, the mother what? And so she she was like, that's the MuthaFUNder. I like it. I like it. I like it. It's marketing. And so he was like, yeah, because I was like, oh wow. So then he's so professional and cool. It was like well did we bother you at are you eating lunch? I said, yes, sir. I'm not even hungry anymore. I ain't even hungry no more.
Oh my gosh, that's too
This
funny.
meeting right here is more important. And so he was like, no, no, we understand that, we called you at the last minute. I said, no problem. No, this is a very important meeting. And so I'm just glad to be working on that project, to be a real estate and business consultant for the project. And I just cannot wait to be a contributor for that. That's but don't say daddy. Let me stop. That's
out of
Beyonce
out of
and
Houston,
Solange
out of Houston, Texas. That's
out
so
of
cute.
Houston. Out of Houston. Well, actually, he's from a town called Gadsden, Alabama. Is where he grew up.
Ah,
See, I taught you something. I taught you something. You learned
I
something
didn't
today.
know. I didn't know.
Look, cause he went, and I didn't know that too until the Zoom. So he was like, well, when he said, well, where you from? And I said, Birmingham, Alabama. He said, I'm from Gaston. And I was like, oh, okay, because it's like an hour away from Birmingham up north. And so I was like, it's amazing that how you can connect. But however, it all started from a digital card, right? So Dr. King hearing me speak, and Dr. King connected me with Dr. Knowles.
This is key. This is key. And it's because you established a good relationship, a networking relationship with Dr. King, and she trusted you with that connection. So kudos to Dr. King and Dr. Knowles, and I'll be excited to see what will be happening in regards to you. And you two Alabama boys will connect and do some great things. I'm excited for you, Derrick.
Well, definitely, I'm excited too, but I'm excited for you in Chicago and the things that'll take place. So I'm proud of you. And what Dr. King
Thank you.
says, there's nothing that you can do about it.
That's exciting.
So what I want to do is, do you have any closing remarks? I want to give you the opportunity to, number one, inspire, motivate, and educate anybody that is looking to get into podcasting.
I can definitely do that. If you have an interest in speaking or talking about what you love to do, podcasting is a great lane to go into. People wonder, can you make money? Yes, you can. It's called sponsorship. It's called gathering your friends and asking, hey, I got this new platform and I'm going to be talking about dogs. I'm a nurse and I'm going to be talking about mental health with of nurses. I'm a teacher and I want to help other teachers through this new post COVID school year. I'm going to be talking to other teachers about that or other administrators about it. Whatever your lane is, whatever your career or desire or things that you have an interest in, strong interest in, like you could talk about it off the top of your head. I love movies and music. These are things that I can talk about off the top of my head because I have been following our brothers and sisters in entertainment and film for decades. And I am proud of how far we've come. We still got a long way to go, but I'm rooting for them with pom poms. And that became my passion and that became my podcast. We're at it again tonight. We are back, and we come every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. on the other coast, the in Los Angeles. We have an international audience all over the world for Talk on Tuesdays, and it's become a global platform that myself, Coach Tony, and Mr. Womble, my producer, we're very proud of it. We're continuing to build and just do it. That was kind of the advice that I got early on in 2020 when things were looking extremely bleak and sad. And as I tell people, my podcast saved my life. I had something to look forward to in a very weird and turbulent time with social injustice happening, um, all of us being called into quarantine and then still grieving the loss of my mom, which now is coming up on 3 years at the end of this week. So I do my podcast to make her proud. So find your why and do it.
Oh, now look, I'm inspired. Look,
That's the hope.
I know your mom will be very, very proud of you, because she is, and to see where you came from to where you are now. So I'm proud of you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. But guys, what I want to do is, let's do this. I want to share our number. So if you ever have any interest getting started in real estate, getting started in business, or want to get started with a podcast, I know people. She does consults. She's always looking for sponsors. So if you're wanting to sponsor, give us a call at 205-216-5853 and shoot us a text at sponsor. I'm her biggest cheerleader. She will not find a bigger cheerleader, because she's done something so just awesome and amazing. And you know what? I didn't even turn my light on. Normally, so look at that. I didn't even turn my light on.
I'm dealing with natural light because I'm facing the window. So I love that I'm using natural light.
Guys, Miss Johnson would have been on my behind. Miss Johnson don't play that. Because see, when we first got started, look, Mr. Young, you're going to need to get a light. We're going to need to have you positioned. You need to have some structure. And I'm sorry, Miss Johnson. I apologize.
That's fine. And your next call is to get a mic.
Yeah. Oh, she just called me out on this public national platform where everybody's gonna see, you know. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But guys, with that, don't forget, if you want to be a sponsor for Val's Voice for the Interludes podcast, please text the word sponsor to 205-216-5853. If you're looking for any digital products, or you're trying to get into real estate or podcasting, text that number 205-216-5853. And now what I want to end off with, guys, is I want to show you the reason why people are attracted to this talent, this huge talent, that I'm not worthy to share this stage with her. You'll see her face first, smiling. But then look at the people are smiling because of her. She attracts people to her. And so I want to show and share this with you guys as we close. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll end with this video. Thank you again, Val.
You got it. All right. This is Saturday. We're going to make it a little smooth.
Check.